Hello everyone, welcome to another video. And today I want to talk with you about a concept that comes from the financial world, but I apply it for everything I'm doing in life, basically. And I'm talking about life being a compound interest. So I will start first with explaining really briefly the the actual real concept. So basically this term comes from the financial world, and it means that if you make small investments, then over time they are growing exponentially due to earning interest on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. So this is basically briefly what it means. But in simple words, it means very small investments within a long time frame will give you big results. This is basically the way I see it. And this is also in real life. This concept also applies in real life and in our daily life. Because the way I see it, everything we do is compound interest. Everything takes time, right? Everything takes time. We can agree on that. Everything takes time, whether if you want to lose weight, whether if you want to become better at something, whether if you want to read a book, whether if you want to become a better reader, whether if you want to run a marathon, whether if you want to learn a new language, But everything takes time. Everything positive takes time, and everything negative also takes time. If you're going to smoke only one cigarette and stop, so your lungs wouldn't be as damaged as if you would smoke for 10 years. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying compound. And if you're drinking one beer, your liver will probably be okay. And you cannot compare it to if you would drink 10 years straight, non-stop. So compound interest in real life applies for the good stuff we do and for the bad stuff we do. But we need to choose which one we want to do. So let's dive in for a second into compound interest in personal growth and how small daily habits can change our life in the long term and how can we benefit from them in the long term. So I gave some examples already, but let's say you want to run a marathon, You never ran in your life. And the probability that you could run a marathon the next day is almost zero, unless you want to pass out or whatever and you push yourself, but it's probably zero. But if you want to have a nice marathon and to have a good result and feel good physically about yourself while running and not feeling like you are fighting yourself in order to finish that marathon, you're going to need some practice. And practice takes time. Now, let's say you went and you practiced one time, you ran 1 kilometer. Good for you. But it doesn't mean that the next day you can go and run a full marathon, You're going to have to run 1 kilometer, you're going to have to run 2 kilometers, 3, etc., etc. And by the time you get to 40 something, I think 42 is it a marathon? And by the time you get there, you can run a full marathon, But for that, you need to show up every day for yourself. And by showing up every day, I don't mean you have to run every day, but you have to run, and you have to eat good, and you have to sleep good, etc. You have to treat yourself good every day. And this is what I mean by compound, because you cannot just run 5 kilometers and then go and smoke your lungs out and drink your liver out and doing drugs and sleep 4 hours a night and then go and run a marathon after 6 months of doing that, You cannot. Because then again, you need a certain momentum to get to that level where you are able to run a marathon, And for that, you need those tiny steps that compound on each other in order to get to that level. And let's take something else, for example, learning a new language. You cannot learn a new language within a day, but if you're going to show up every day and you're going to study again and again and again and again, and by the time you notice, after a few months, the accumulated knowledge that you have will be so big that you suddenly know how to speak that language. But you cannot study one time in a month and know that language after 12 months, because that's how it works. You have to build it brick by brick consistently. And same goes for everything. And same goes for meditation, If you want to find a breakthrough in your meditation, you have to do it on a daily basis. Get to know your body, get to know your soul, etc. And last example, and the most classic one, would probably be losing weight. If you want to lose weight and you say, okay, today I'm going to work hard, I'm going to go run, I'm going to go train, and you might have a good day, but then if for the rest of the week you're just going to eat shit food, then you're going to eat a lot of food, then by the end of the week, you lost all of the momentum you had after that one training. But if you show up consistently and every day, then you will gain that momentum that you have from the first time that you train, and you show up again and again and again. And by the time you get there, the accumulated benefit will be so big that you're going to start losing weight. That's how it works. Now, same goes to relationship, for example. If you are in a relationship and you want to make the relationship strong and trustworthy and open, then you got to make an effort for your partner. You got to be there for them. You got to listen to them. They got to listen to you. They're going to be there for you, in times of need. And you build it brick by brick by brick by brick. And by the time you get there, 6 months, 1 year, few years, whatever. But by the time you get there, you have a very beautiful relationship that you created, But it's not something that you can just do one time a month and that's it. And be there for each other for 1 day a month. And then the rest of the month just shit on the relationship, and not care for each other. Because then after a few years, you didn't accumulate anything, All you accumulated was actually the miscommunication, and the bad stuff that actually will lead you to lose that relationship. So basically that principle of accumulating benefit and compound interest, it can be on everything in life, everything we want to learn, everything we want to achieve, everything we want to create, because you can also apply it for the wrong things, and I gave some example in the beginning, but if you smoke one cigarette and that's it won't make your lungs collapse, but if you keep smoking one cigarette and then another one, then another one, then another one, by the time you do that for years, your lungs will probably reach to failure at one point, That's just the way it is. So you're applying that principle, but to the wrong way, To the wrong way that will actually destroy you. Same goes for drinking. Same goes for doing drugs. Maybe doing drugs one time won't kill you, but if you do it again and again and again and again, you're accumulating disaster to yourself, And this is something to think about, in my opinion. This is something I think about every time, Maybe you can think of something in your life that you're doing. It can be good or bad, right? If it's good, then good for you. But if it's bad, maybe you want to change it, And it starts with the smallest change. It starts with the smallest steps. But the main point of this principle is that you don't have to make big steps every time. It's about the small steps that eventually, one by one, creates the big picture that you will benefit from after a long time. And I will give you some tips from me on how I managed to apply it and managed to keep it consistent, If I look at myself, I can say that I apply this method on fitness, on training. I train every day. I eat good and healthy food that benefits me. I also played guitar for 10 years or so. So also there I applied this method. And maybe one tip I can give you is maybe try and choose something you like, because that also really make it easier, But if it's something that you not necessarily like, but it benefits you, maybe try to keep track of your records, keep track of your daily improvements, and every time you look at it, you're going to get excited and you're going to get motivation for the next day. Another thing that can help is setting clear goals for yourself, whether if you want to lose weight or whatever, or read, say I'm going to read X amount of pages and not the whole book, because as I said, you cannot run marathon after one day. You need to read every day, little by little. And don't say to yourself, I want to lose 40 kilos, start from 5 kilos, start from 1 kilo. And as time go by, you're going to lose another kilo and another kilo and another kilo. And by the time you get there, you accumulated 40 kilos that you lost. And as I said in a different video, celebrate your small wins, 1 kilo. If you lost 1 kilo, it's as important and even more important than losing 40 kilos, on your way to get there. And try to appreciate that, appreciate you reading one page in a book. If you said, I'm going to read 50 pages, if you read one page, celebrate that, celebrate the small wins that eventually are compounding to the big wins, because this is also important and it will give you motivation to continue. So yeah, I guess this is what I wanted to talk with you about today. Maybe you can find something in your life that you want to make progress in. And I think this is a great method and way to start. One aspect you want to make progress in, whether if it's one of the things I said or whether if it's not, but try to start from small steps, keep it consistent, and try to put the brick by brick by brick and show up on a daily basis. And then give it a week, give it 2 weeks, and you're going to see that after those 1 or 2 weeks, you're going to look back and you're going to notice that all of those small wins now accumulated to a bigger win and a bigger picture. Yeah, so this is my tip for me to you today. And if you want to share some of your progress with me in the comments, please do. And maybe it will inspire others. So just remember, keep track of your results, be there consistently and daily, celebrate the small wins, and don't forget to enjoy the way, which is the most important. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. We're almost at 30 videos. Let's go.